Thank you. That's the first thing I want to say. Thank you for being here. Because if you're listening to this speech, there's a chance you know exactly what those 5 words feel like in your bones. I did it alone, broke and tired. Not tired like you need a nap. Not broke like you skipped buying coffee this morning. And not alone like you just happened to be in an empty room. I mean the kind of tired that lives in your marrow. The kind of broke where you calculate the cost of a single egg. The kind of alone where you look around and realize that no one is coming to save you. No one has your back. No one even knows the war you're fighting because you stopped telling people a long time ago. Let me tell you a story. It's my story, but I suspect it's also yours. 3 years ago, I was sitting on the floor of a studio apartment that had a leak in the ceiling. The landlord didn't care. The bucket I put under the drip was the same bucket I used to wash my clothes. I had exactly $17 to my name. My phone was off because I couldn't pay the bill. The only reason I had light was because the electricity was included in the rent. And even that flickered like it was embarrassed to be there. I was supposed to be someone. I had dreams. Big, loud, embarrassing dreams that I used to tell people about at parties. I was going to build something. I was going to matter. But somewhere between the first rejection and the 10th, between the friend who said, oh, maybe be realistic, and the family member who said, oh, when are you going to grow up? I stopped talking. I stopped asking for help. Because every time I reached out, I got silence. Or worse, pity. That slow tilted head, oh, honey kind of pity that makes you feel smaller than zero. So I did the only thing I could do. I shut up. And I worked. Now, when I say I worked, I don't mean I had a glamorous side hustle. I mean, I worked 12-hour shifts at a warehouse lifting boxes until my back screamed. Then I came home and worked on my real dream until 2 in the morning. I ate ramen for 6 months straight. Not the good kind, with vegetable. The kind that comes in a plastic wrapper and tastes like salt and regret. I stopped going out. I stopped answering calls because I didn't have anything to say that wouldn't sound like a complaint. I stopped expecting anything from anyone. And that's the place where it happens. That's the dark, ugly, beautiful place where you either die or you become a monster of determination. I did it alone. Let me be clear. Not alone with the safety net. Not alone while my parents paid my rent. Not alone with the trust fund waiting in the shadows. Alone. As in, when I failed, no one knew. When I cried, no one heard. When I wanted to give up, there was no one to talk me off the ledge. It was just me, my cracked phone screen, and a voice in my head that said 2 things over and over again. You're not good enough, and to keep going. Those 2 voices fought every single day. And most days, the first one won. Most days, I believed I was a fool. Most days, I looked at my bank account and my empty fridge and my broken dreams. And I thought, oh, who do you think you are? But here's the thing about being broke and tired. It strips you down to nothing. And when you have nothing left to lose. That's the secret no one tells you. Poverty of resources can become a strange kind of freedom. Because when you have no backup plan, your only plan is to win. Failure isn't an option. Not because you're brave, but because you literally cannot afford it. I remember one night in particular, it was winter. The heat in my apartment stopped working. I was wearing 3 sweaters and a hat indoors. I had just finished a 16-hour day, 8 hours at a cleaning job where I scrubbed other people's toilets, and 8 hours building my business, which at the time was just a website with no visitors and a PayPal account with $2 in it. I was so tired I could feel my heart beating in my teeth. And I sat on that cold floor and I started to cry. Not pretty crying, ugly, heaving, why is this happening to me crying? And then I stopped. I wiped my face with my sleeve. And I said out loud to the empty room, to the leaky ceiling, to the flickering light, fine. I'll do it myself. I'll do it broke. I'll do it tired. I'll do it alone, but I will do it. That was the moment everything changed. Not because the universe sent me a check. Not because someone knocked on my door with an opportunity, but because I made a decision, a brutal, unforgiving, no turning back decision. I decided that I would rather die trying than live wondering. And I want to talk about that word, alone. We treat it like a curse. We spend our whole lives running from it. We stay in bad relationships, bad jobs, bad cities, just so we don't have to feel alone. We post photos online, hoping for validation. We text people who don't text back. We beg for company. But let me tell you something. Being alone is not the enemy. Being surrounded by people who don't see you, who don't believe in you, who drain you with their doubt, that is the enemy. True solitude is a forge. It's where you get hardened. It's where you learn who you actually are when there's no audience, no applause, no one to impress. In that cold apartment, alone and broken tired, I learned things about myself that I could have learned no other way. I learned that I was stubborn, not in a cute way, in a fairer way. I learned that I was creative because I had to be. When you have no money, you figure out how to make something from nothing. I learned that I had a work ethic that scared me because when no one is watching, you find out if you actually want it or if you just like the idea of it. And I want to be honest with you about the broke part because we romanticize the starving artist. We tell stories about the founder who slept on a couch, but being broke is not romantic. Being broke is humiliating. It's watching your friends go out for dinner and making an excuse. It's lying about why you can't go to the wedding. It's the knot in your stomach when you check your balance. It's the quiet panic that never really leaves you. Being broke teaches you the true value of $1, yes, but more importantly, it teaches you the true cost of your dreams. Because every hour you spend working a job you hate just to survive is an hour you're not building your future. And you feel that math in your soul every single day. I worked 3 jobs at one point. 3. I was a janitor. I was a delivery driver. I was a customer service operator for a company that treated its workers like machines. And between those shifts, I built my thing, my website, my craft, my skill, my voice. I studied at 4 a.m. I practiced on my lunch breaks. I read books on my phone in the dark so I wouldn't wake the neighbor who banged on the wall when I turned the light on. And I was tired. God, I was tired. God, I was sleepy. Exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that makes you feel like your bones are made of leaves. The kind where you close your eyes and see colors because you're so sleep deprived. I forgot entire conversations. I lost weight I couldn't afford to lose. My hair thin. My eyes had dark circles that looked like bruises. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. But here's what I want you to understand. That tiredness became my fuel. When you are that tired, you stop overthinking. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you don't have the energy for perfection. You just have enough energy for action. Imperfect, messy, desperate action. And action is the only thing that changes your life. Not thinking, not planning, not waiting. Action. I did it alone, broken tired. And one day something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No fireworks, no symphonies. I just got my first real client, a small one, $50 job. But I remember staring at the notification on my phone and my hands were shaking because that $50 represented something more than money. It represented proof. Proof that the 4 a.m. mornings meant something. Proof that the cold floor and the ramen and the loneliness had produced something real. From there, it grew slowly, painfully slowly. I failed again. Many times, clients didn't pay. Projects fell apart. I had months where I made less than minimum wage, but I never went back to zero. Because once you have built something from nothing, you know how to do it again. And that knowledge is unshakable. I want to tell you this because someone in this room needs to hear it. Someone is sitting there right now, broken, tired, and alone, and you think it's a sign that you should quit. You think the universe is telling you no. You think the silence means you're not good enough. But what if the silence is the space where your strength grows? What if the broke is the fire that burns away your entitlement? What if the tired is the proof that you're giving everything you have? The world will tell you that you need a team. You need investors. You need a mentor. You need a safety net. And sure, those things help, but they are not requirements. The only requirement is a decision that you will not stop, that you will not let your circumstances write your story, that you will take the raw, broken, exhausted version of yourself and you will drag it forward 1 inch at a time. I look back on that person on the cold floor and I don't feel pity for her. I feel awe. She was a warrior, a broke, tired, lonely warrior fighting a battle no one could see. And she won. Not because she was the smartest or the luckiest or the most talented. She won because she refused to lose. She won because when the world said, give up, she said, watch me. And here's the thing I need you to hear most of all. You are never going to feel ready. You are never going to have enough money. You are never going to have enough energy. The conditions will never be perfect. That is the lie that keeps people stuck. They wait for the right time. They wait for a financial cushion. They wait for motivation. But motivation is a myth. Discipline is the only thing that works. And discipline is just making a choice over and over again, even when you don't want to, even when it hurts, even when no one cares. So if you are alone, good. You have no distractions. If you are broke, good. You have nothing to protect. If you are tired, good. You have no energy left for self-pity. These are not weaknesses. These are your weapons. These are the things that will forge you into someone who cannot be broken. I did it alone, broke and tired. And so can you. But let me be brutally honest with you. It will not get easier. You will not suddenly wake up one day feeling fresh and funded and surrounded by cheerleaders. What will happen is that you will get stronger. You will get stronger. You will get smarter. You will learn to do more with less. You will learn to rest without quitting. You will learn to find joy in the smallest victories. And one day you will look back and you will not recognize the person you used to be. Not because you changed overnight, but because you survived 1,000 nights that were designed to destroy you. I'm not famous. I'm not rich. I'm not done. I am still tired. I am still careful with money. And in many ways, I am still alone. But I am no longer afraid of those words because I know what they made me. They made me relentless. They made me grateful. Stop waiting for the bank account to grow. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Take whatever you have right now. Even if it's just a cracked phone, a tiny room, and a heart full of fear, and use it. Use it until it breaks. And then use the broken pieces, because that is what we do. That is what the alone, the broke, and the tired do. We turn nothing into something. We turn exhaustion into power. We turn isolation into independence. And when you finally get to where you're going, and you will get there if you just refuse to stop, you will look back, and you will thank every empty fridge, every sleepless night, every tear on a cold floor, because they were not your enemies, they were your teachers. And they gave you the greatest gift a person can receive, the unshakable knowledge that you can survive anything. I did it alone, broke and tired, and I would not trade 1 second of it